Welcome back, everybody, to look at another film in the Universal Horror Monsters and Curiosities box set from Umbrella Entertainment. So we are skipping over a couple of films on one disc, and they are Man-Made Monster and Monster on the Campus, as they were part of the free sci-fi horror films that Eureka put out a while ago, alongside Monolith Monsters. So we're skipping right over those and over the first film on this disc as well, into 1957's The Incredible Shrinking Man. So this is directed by Jack Arnold, who I've seen 9 other films from. He also did the other film on this disc, Tarantula, but we looked at that a few years ago via a 101 Films release. But he also did Monster on the Campus, which was on the previous disc, as well as Creature from the Black Lagoon, which is probably his most well-known film, as well as It Came from Outer Space and This Island Earth. So this is a science fiction film, although there are elements of horror to this as well. The clock's in at 81 minutes long. And yeah, stars like Sir Grant Williams, who we've talked about before, as he was in The Leech Woman. You've also got Paul Langton, who, although maybe not a leading star, was in a slew of other sci-fi films from the 50s, like It, The Terror from Beyond Space, Invisible Invaders, The Snow Creature, and The Cosmic Man. So a dangerous combination of radiation and insecticide causes the unfortunate Scott Carey to shrink slowly but surely until he is only a few inches tall. His home becomes a wilderness where he must survive everything from spiders living in the cellar to his beloved cat. So after several watchable and generally enjoyable efforts from director Jack Arnold, he subsequently tops them all with this effort that doesn't just rely on special effects and solid production value, which it has in spades, to keep the film engrossing, as our lead character has genuine depth to him, as his ordeal brings about psychological as well as physical changes on him. The cast as a whole is also good. The film is well paced, the cinematography is on point, especially when it comes to showing off the impressive effects and production. The score is well done, there are scenes with effective tension, and it is scary in its depiction of the shrinking effect that can clearly be seen as a metaphor for real life diseases. My only real issue with this overall is the fact that I would have liked a slightly more satisfying conclusion that is slightly less religious as well. The original The War of the Worlds had that problem as well, with a slightly underwhelming conclusion with the religious angle to it. But yeah, overall a excellent film and definitely my favourite from Jack Arnold, and it gets a very healthy 4.5 out of 5. I think that's probably the highest rating I've given any film in this box set. And as far as the sound films go, this is probably the most well-known film that I have looked at from this box set before. So yeah, like I said, this film shares a disc with Tarantula, which is another film from Jack Arnold. That film itself has a trailer. And yeah, this is in the 185 to 1 aspect ratio, again in black and white. Has 2.0 dual mono DTS HD MA audio and a 1080p high definition presentation. Looks and sounds perfectly good, but then again, this is a film that has had a Blu-ray release in the past via Arrow Video, which I have somewhere in my collection. And yeah, it probably doesn't look or sound any better than that, but also crucially doesn't probably look any worse. It does have English language soundtrack, but despite the fact that it says that there are English subtitles, they for the life of me would not work for me, even though previous discs in this release that have had subtitles have worked perfectly fine. So yeah, not sure what the issue with that is. This film also, in terms of an extra, has a trailer, and as an extra for both films on this disc as well, there's a Do the Stomp trailer reel. So that's basically got several films from this same kind of period as this, although there is one that isn't, that are all joined together in a really rather lengthy 27-minute trailer reel that has been done by Drive-In Delirium. So the films that are included in the trailer reel are the likes of The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, Them, It Came from Beneath the Sea, Attack of the Crab Monsters, Not of This Earth, Creature from the Haunted Sea, 20 Million Miles to Earth, The Black Scorpion, The Giant Claw, War of the Colossal Beast, Monster from Green Hell, The Giant Behemoth, and the outliers to this, I'm not sure why it's included, is Equinox, which is a film from the 70s and is in colour, and it's the only one that is outside of the 50s, in fact. So yeah, not entirely sure why that is included, but regardless, yeah, it's a really rather interesting trailer reel. Nice to see the trailers of these films, which really do emphasise the monster elements to them, while also emphasising the cast and the fact that in a couple of films it says a cast of thousands, which are not really a cast of thousands, just extras that are running around from the monster and such and such. So yeah, there's only two films in that trailer reel I haven't seen before, and that is War of the Colossal Beast. I've also not seen the predecessor to that film either, and Equinox. But yeah, I'll definitely get around to those at some point. War of the Colossal Beast and the predecessor to it, I think it's the Amazing Colossal Beast. Those two ones that I've not seen from the 50s yet, so got to get around to them. Both of which were done by Burt I. Gordon, who I've had a hit and miss kind of history with in the past. But yeah, also not seen Equinox, but that is one that was on my radar at some point, but I've long since forgotten about since this trailer reel. So yeah, I'd be interested to get around to see those films that I've not seen before from the trailer reel. But yeah, nonetheless, if you haven't seen any of these films or any of those films before, I would recommend trying out that trailer reel if you do have this release, so you can kind of get a an inkling in what you're going to be getting in for with those films. But yeah, for the most part, the films that I have seen from that list are pretty damn good. The ones I'd recommend would be The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, Them, It Came From Beneath the Sea, Attack of the Crab Monsters, Not of This Earth, 20 Million Miles to Earth, and The Black Scorpion. The Giant Claw is a little bit underwhelming, but that is one we've looked at in the past anyway. So yeah, but nonetheless, that is The Incredible Shrinking Man, celebrating its 70th anniversary next year, and yeah, still a really, really enjoyable one, quite frankly. So yeah, but nonetheless, if you have seen The Incredible Shrinking Man before, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.